I'm Adrienne, your sex positive bestie, here for sexy talk, real stories, and tips that just hit. Ready to play? Let's go. Hey Cravers, let's pick things up right where we left off. I'm going to tell you all about the end of my year that went down in flames, literally. And like I promised in the last episode, we're going to talk all about the secret behaviors of men and women in relationships. You guys had a lot of fun things to share, and I'm excited to share them with you. Where do I begin? So end of October, we found out that Mr. Wright had to go to Virginia Beach for a month. That kind of threw a wrench in our plans because it was Mr. Wright's 45th birthday. Also, we had a scheduled trip to Pinehurst with my brother. And then it was Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh my God, like you're going to be living in a hotel for a month. This is crazy, but I'll make the effort. I'll get down there. And I did. So it was a lot of travel back and forth. We had a fantastic time celebrating his birthday. We went to the Outer Banks. It was beautiful weather. And then my brother and I drove down and met Mr. Wright in Pinehurst, North Carolina. If you're a golfer and you haven't been to Pinehurst, I highly, highly recommend adding it to your list. It was one of the coolest places. I don't know how to explain it other than golfer's paradise, Disney World for golfers. And it's just so beautiful there. And it was amazing. I can't wait to go back. And I'm not even a golfer, okay? The thing is, too, it was my dad's heaven on earth. He and my brother have been traveling there for the last 10 years together, sometimes twice a year. And my dad, who didn't really get excited about a lot of things, got excited about Pinehurst. Mr. Wright and my brother played on number 9, number 4, and then on the, number 2, like the U.S. Open was there last year. Bryson DeChambeau hit that amazing shot. Anyways, it was really, really, really fun. I think if you asked Mr. Wright what the golf game was like for him, he would pretend to say, I guess you can call it fun. Pinehurst is one of the most, especially number 2, is one of the most difficult courses to play on. But it felt so special because it was a place that was so close to my dad. I felt very close to my dad. My brother shared a ton of memories. I got to sit in like the Adirondack chairs that he loved and watching the guys come in on number 2 and going to the Deuce and heading downtown. And, it was just a really, really special time and special place. The pro actually on number 2 gave my brother a Pinehurst flag and a letter that said, I know the last time that you were here, you played with your father. We're so sorry to hear about his passing. It's an honor for you to be back with us today. It was just really, really special and nice. It was a great trip. And I have been dabbling into the game of golf as well. I've been playing in the sim, learning things, trying to work on my swing just a little bit. My brother's been helping me, make the Y, stand this way. And it's just amazing to me how precise and how the mechanics of your swing just impact everything. It's a hard game chasing that little white ball around. But I played the Cradle, which is a par 3 course, and had an absolute blast. I actually had some really good shots too. It was the first time I played where I was like, hey, I can do this. And I was using my dad's drivers and using his irons, and that felt really good too. So it was just a very magical trip. I can't wait to go back. We've already been talking about it. And again, bucket list item for sure for Mr. Wright to be playing on number 2. And we're looking forward to going back. So we go to Pinehurst. We have a great time. And then the following week, it was Thanksgiving. And so my daughter and I went back down to Virginia Beach. We actually stayed with him for the last week, which was really nice. Visited family. You guys know me. I love Virginia Beach. Had a great time. We had Thanksgiving dinner with Mr. Wright at his restaurant, and it was a good trip. But I've talked about him, my Max baby, our little Shorky. If you follow me over on Instagram at Midlife Craving, you've seen him many times before. He wasn't feeling good. And I thought, maybe he's not feeling good because Mr. Wright's away. Maybe he's not feeling good because of the travel. Maybe it's just stressful for him to be, I don't know. It was weird because he wouldn't eat and then he would eat and then he wouldn't eat and it was just like ups and downs. And I told Mr. Red, I was like, when we get home, we got to go to bed. We went to the Redskins game that weekend. We were having a good time and we just made this appointment. And I really thought we would go there and they would say, oh, like here's some nausea medicine, or he got into something in the yard. devastatingly. And like, so it was very, very like earth shattering for us. They said, this is the end. And next thing I know, Mr. Wright and I are putting him down. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Mr. Wright had Max for 15 years, and I was lucky enough to have him for almost 2. And he was just the best boy in the world. He was such a good little buddy. He never barked. If he needed something, he would come and tap you on the shoulder. He was so cute and just nothing but love. He loved playing ball. He loved his duck and his rabbit, and he was just the sweetest boy in the world. I just can't even tell you. It's funny because Katina and her boyfriend would literally be like, can we have Max? And I'm like, we're not going anywhere. And they're like, yeah, we know. We want Max. And so it was kind of funny. But so it was just it was probably one of the hardest weeks I've ever had. Mr. Wright was devastated. Me and my daughter were devastated. It was really, really, really hard to say goodbye. And so that week it was rough stuff. And then right after that, I stepped out of my car onto black ice, fell on my elbow, and ended up at urgent care and found out that I chipped my elbow. So then I was in air cast. This is like 3 days later. I'm in an air cast, and they're like, hey, by this weekend, if the swelling doesn't go down and the bruising doesn't go away, you're probably gonna have to get a hard cast. I'm like, what? Sorry. That cough is lingering because after the elbow fiasco, which I still can't put my elbow down, which I don't know if that's like a bad thing, but I guess eventually it'll go away. I got the freaking flu. So then I'm not kidding you, 6-7 days, I was down. Oh my God, my daughter would go 6-7. I was down. Like the biggest feat and achievement for me was to take a shower. Okay. I have had COVID 4 times. I have never been as down as I was with the flu. So one thing after another, right? Next thing you know, bam, it's Christmas time. And this Christmas was very different for me. Just not having my dad. And I've had a lot of loss this year. My cousin's husband died tragically in the plane crash over DC. Then my father passed. Then my grandpa. Then my pop-pop. My aunt died 2 weeks ago. That's another funeral I have to go to. And then Mac's baby. It's been a lot of loss this year. Like it's hard to even talk. I just can't even think about it sometimes, like how surreal it is of all of this. My brother and I went and saw my dad on Saturday. We went to the cemetery to celebrate his 67th birthday with him. And it was actually very peaceful being there and stuff. And my brother looked at me and he said, Age, which is funny because I don't think a lot of you know that my nickname's Agey. But he was like, Age, it's just our time. And that's something I think I want to talk about on this show about midlife. Life is going to catch up at one point or another or kick our asses. It's a guarantee. None of us can avoid it. None of us, God, if we're lucky, you're going to have loved ones, friends that you lose. And it's really hard. I've just had kind of a domino effect lately. And I'm trying to count my blessings and not be negative, but it's been hard. And so I'm just like really glad this year's over. That's all I want to say. So, okay, I forget where I was. Okay, so Christmas is coming up and it's different this year and it's weird. I don't have my dad. There's a lot of things that have changed in my family and it's just different. So I have been hosting and my family has done Christmas Eve for 44 years. And this year I decided to go to Mr. Wright's family in New Jersey, which was amazing. Mr. Wright has an incredible family. Like his parents are wonderful. He has 3 older sisters. And by the way, Mr. Wright is a twin. Isn't that crazy? So a lot of family, and Mr. Wright's the baby. And so everybody has kids and then they have wives and then they have kids. And so it's a huge family. There's a lot of people and everyone is wonderful. But I will say it was a little tough for me. Number one, for it being different and also missing my dad so much. But also it was kind of like a glaring magnifying glass on me and my life and my family and my situation where it's like, damn, everything's changed for me. Like they still have their traditions. They still have, their Christmas swap gifts and their, the fun things they do and the comments and like everybody's there and everybody's having a good time. And like, it's just really, really hard. And so there was a moment where I was just like, I don't know, I kind of need a little bit of a break. And I don't know. Again, his family is incredible. And I'm so lucky to be a part of it. But this year was just different. So I think next year will be better. It's It's got to be, especially when I tell you what happened on Christmas. So we came home and I decided to host Christmas dinner. Mr. Wright made a phenomenal prime rib. My mom and my brother came over and we're having a good time. We had dinner and Mr. Wright was like, hey, I'm going to let some fireworks off. And I was like, oh, I love fireworks. Fun idea. 'Tis the season, right? And we go outside. We have Mr. Wright puts off. I mean, some of these fireworks were 90-second display. It was a lot of fun and the kids were loving it. So good times. We go inside. Well, we put everything away. My mom was cleaning up the street, I remember, and we come inside and we're opening presents. Next thing you know, like 15 minutes later, I hear boom, 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 boom on the front door. And ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, doorbell's going off. And I'm like, I looked at Mr. Wright and I said, it's the Popo. Like, the police are here for sure. Like, I told you that was too much. Like, I mean, when we were done with the fireworks, the place was smoked out. And I was like, shit, somebody call the cops. So I was like slowly walking up to the door and I was like, Mr. Wright. I was like, come on. Because I was like, oh my God. And I looked out the window and there were flames licking up the side of my porch. Okay. When I tell you, like, fight or flight, here we go again. I ran out the front door. My neighbor was dragging this box of flames to the center of the street. And I look over and the siding is just melting. And there's this conduit that runs electric to the garage. It's just like on fire. And luckily it was next to mostly brick because my God, I mean, I'm not kidding you when I say, I think we were 5 minutes away from living in a hotel right now. And that's not being dramatic. So unfortunately, all I wanted to do was get the flames out. So I ran up. I got water bottles in the garage. I'm dumping water bottles. Then I realized, I got to get the water. Well, the water's turned off because it's winter. So I run downstairs like Superwoman, dive into the ceiling, turn the water on, run out, hook the hose up. Meanwhile, everybody's doing things too. People are dumping water. Mr. Wright, I think, was getting buckets from the kitchen. I don't know what was happening. By the way, fun fact, the entire time, there was a fire extinguisher right next to all this shit. But none of us... You can't, when you're in fight or flight, I mean, you do what you got to do. So I'm outside, I'm hosing things down, I'm stomping out the flames, and I am just like, oh my God. Like, what the fuck? Like 2025 can suck it. And I remember looking at Mr. Wright and I said, this is the best Christmas ever. Okay, so yeah, Christmas was kind of over at that point. I mean, just what a fucking circus. The cool thing is that my guy Oscar came over the next day and fixed everything, took all the siding down, redid it, fixed the conduit, reran the wiring. So everything's fixed and everything's good and you know, back to normal. But goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Hashtag too soon. I know. But what a Christmas to remember, right? I mean, Jesus. In other hotter news, I will say this. Mr. Wright and I are still having copious amounts of amazing hot sex. And that is what I'm grateful for. Without that, I think I'd be in a padded room with a view. Okay. And also, I just want to tell you, we are both still so addicted to the prone position. I don't know what it is, the way that he fits me in that position, but let me tell you something. We're still loving it. Oh, it's just the best. And one of the hottest things that he does is he always pulls my pants down for me. And to me, I'm just like, yeah, take that. Like, oh, it's dreamy. I want to say something too. I've talked a lot on the show about how to fit it in, right? We got a teenager in the house. Let me tell you something. She knows everything that's going on. It's very difficult. And the way that we've figured it out is that we schedule sex. And I know it's like, ew, like what? Scheduling? No, you can make it sexy. You can make it hot. So I texted him yesterday and I said, hey, tomorrow, set your alarm for 5 a.m. We're going to get up and we're going to get it in. And he was like, fuck yeah. And then what happens is I say to him while he's making dinner, I can't wait for tomorrow morning. And then I'll text him, is it tomorrow morning yet? Foreplay, baby. I'm amped up, ready to go. And he does the same thing to me. He'll say, hey, I'm coming in hot and 30. Before you go get, your daughter, let's get it on. And hell yeah, like just talking about it, scheduling it. And also it makes me feel so wanted. It makes him feel so wanted. And it's been a lot of fun. I know it doesn't sound too sexy, but I swear to you it is. Send that text, schedule sex, make time for you and your partner and the intimacy of your relationship. I swear I tell him all the time, I'm like, my world is not rotating correctly. Like my axis is fucked up when we're not getting it in. And it's so vital to me and our relationship. And so I just want to put that out there. Schedule the sex, enjoy the foreplay, and get it on. Another thing too, I have a pro tip. If you and your partner, one of the things I love to do with him is hot towel service after, and he'll do it to me too. So whichever one of us gets up and goes first, like we'll go run the water, get a hot washcloth, and clean each other up. And he especially really likes it. In fact, more times than not, he's like, hey, like, we want to go again? Like, let's do this again. Like, that's super sexy the way you take care of me and you clean me off and you're massaging me still, and vice versa. Like, I mean, I really like it, and it feels really good too. So try a hot towel finish on your partner the next time. Let me know how that goes. All right. So let's talk right now, like I said on the last episode, about secret behavior of men and women in relationships. I jotted down everything you guys shared with me on the website, midlifecraving.com, or over on Instagram at midlifecraving. And I appreciate you guys sharing so much. We'll start with men first. So one of the things that was kind of surprising to me, and several of you told me this, is that you secretly will fake orgasms. And I'm like, really? And it's funny because I'm like such a cum slut, like finisher. Like and I'm like, I don't think, and I asked Mr. Wright, I was like, have you ever faked with me? And he's like, no. He's like, but I've definitely faked in the past. He's like, especially with condoms. Like, he's like, after an hour, Adrian, I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work in this condom. So I'm like, damn, really? I would hope that any partners, and I'm sure many men have faked with me too. I mean, let's just be real. But I would hope that, I don't know, I want my partner to talk to me and say, hey, this isn't working, or hey, can we try something else? Or I don't know. Anyway, so there was a lot of those. Another thing is men, this is funny. Someone said, we can't move our dicks without clenching our asshole. So when they like do the little like movement or whatever, they're clenching their assholes. I thought that was interesting. Men said that one of their secret behaviors is like they will explore butt play when they're masturbating, and that they're actually really curious about butt play. And by the way, no judgment. Zach and I talk about that a lot. You know, that's a big pleasure zone, your prostate, like all of that. And I've dabbled into that world a lot. And let me tell you something, melts in my mouth. That's all I'm going to say. So don't be embarrassed. Don't make that a secret behavior. Talk to your partner. Another thing is they said, we jerk off a lot. I'm like, yeah, I know. But really, like, they were like, I don't think you realize. And it's funny because I asked a bunch of my male friends, and I even asked Mr. Wright. I was like, I mean, and I masturbate a lot as well. And I asked my male friends, and they were all like, yeah, every day. And I'm like, damn, really? Every day? Like, you're in a relationship, you're married? And they're like, yeah, every day. And one of the things I was talking to Mr. Wright about, I was like, look, I think it's very healthy to have a self-pleasure, solo play. Like, my God, like that's a totally different thing than having sex with your partner. However, I do think that it can become an issue if it's impacting your sex life with your partner, right? Like if you're jerking off so much that you're too tired to have sex, or you're craving jerking off that because it's easier than, getting it on with your partner, that is when it becomes a problem. So I've actually told Mr. Wright, I'm like, hey, like I'm kind of tired of jerking off, or like we haven't been able to get it in. And that was one of the more frustrating things that's happened in our relationship. And that's why scheduling sex and like making the time for each other is really vital. And by the way, it really starts with a conversation with your partner. It may not be the most comfortable thing, but guess what? What's more uncomfortable to me is not feeling wanted, not feeling connected, not having that level of intimacy. To me, that's far worse than any conversation that might be a little uncomfortable to talk about. So the jerking off a lot. And then also, like we like to sit naked on your couch. We like to sit naked on your favorite chair. But I do want to say, to be fair, women, we jerk off a lot too. Like even in relationships, I mean, not a ton, not nearly as much as I used to when I was single, but we still do. And I just want to say, I'm still loving my Coco from tracysdog.com, and also the Surreal Bullet vibrator. And the reason why is because they are so whisper quiet. I was actually thinking I might use her before I go back upstairs. And by the way, that's okay, right? Like we had incredible sex this morning and last night, but I might rub one out here real quick, and that's okay. I just want to say, like, excuse me, remember, if you go to tracysdog.com and you use code Cravers20, that's CRAVERS20, you can get 20% off your entire order. Get a Surreal, get a Bullet Vibe, get you a Coco. And also their OG line is incredible. If OG Pop is in stock, grab that thing, okay? Like, it is an incredible toy that will blow your mind. So tracysdog.com, use code Cravers20, 20% off your entire order, and you can get free shipping, okay? Like, let's go. All right, so anyways, enough talk about jerking off. Is there ever enough talk about that? Another thing guys say that secretly they do is they kick the ice cubes under the fridge. Now, look, I used to do that. Hold on, I got a cough. That's that flu coming back or coming through. I used to do that when I was younger. I definitely don't do that anymore, but I thought it was funny because I'm like, that warped wood under your refrigerator, they're responsible. Another thing too is that the things that they use on their balls, like cornstarch or Gold Bond, which I'm like, if you have chafing, like whatever, like do you, boo. Another thing is guys said, we like to be the little spoon sometimes, but we don't want to admit it. And also we really have a lot of feelings and insecurities just as much as women do. And, what was the other one? Let's see. Oh, we like to hold on to compliments, and we love compliments from women. Like, that's something secretly we don't like to share too much. And I was like, you know what? I find myself, I compliment Mr. Right as much as possible. I try to compliment people in my life as much as possible. I just feel like it goes such a long way. That and using someone's name when you're talking to them is a big thing for me. And so I appreciate you guys all sharing that. Let's get in to secret behavior of women in relationships. And I'm going to start with mine. I think for sure my biggest behavior that I do, and I've been doing it forever. It's like secret single behavior from that Sex and the City episode. But like Charlotte, I like to stare in the magnifying mirror and examine my face. I want to make sure that I don't have any blackheads. There's no pore issues. I don't have like a random chin hair. Okay. I'm studying my eyebrows. I'm looking at my skin, obsessing over the small wrinkles I'm seeing under my eyes now at the age of 44. And it's like, I don't know. It just like kind of is a thing for me. It's funny. Sometimes my daughter or Mr. Right will be yelling for me and I'm like, I'm picking at my face. I'm looking at my face. It's just something that I do. Another thing too is that women talked a lot about, masturbation and that like they'll take a long bath with a nice toy. Huge fan of that. We will tuck our t-shirts under our boobs. I relate. Okay. When I'm getting ready, I'm famous for having a towel under my boobs. Like it's hot and you're trying to get ready and you don't want to have like that little bubble of sweat above your upper lip when you're putting on your foundation. Okay. Another thing too, and I was like, oof, is like women like will chew food up and then spit it out instead of ingesting the calories. I don't know if that's like a light eating disorder, but yeah, that was, I'm like, I've done that before. Like, I'm like, oh, this bite of cheesecake, but then I'm like, oh, spit it out. Is that an eating disorder? I don't know, but sometimes this is too much. Okay. We do yoga to fart. Somebody said, I have not done that. However, I will say there are times where I've been stretching or doing an ab workout and I'm like, Katina, I got a fart, girl. And she's like, let it rip. I'm like, okay, I will. One thing I will say that both men and women shared was that we all pee in the shower. Do you pee in the shower? I mean, I do. I've heard that for your pelvic floor, it's bad. Like you should not train yourself to pee standing up, but I don't know. Isn't a drain a drain? Am I a bad person? I'm also famous for peeing in between the car doors at tailgating. I don't know. Judge me if you want. Another thing is how we all walk around naked. Who doesn't do that? Oh, and we're going to drink from the bottle in the refrigerator. If you ever come over to my house, you drink my orange juice, 99.9% chance I've drank out of it. Do not trust my OJ and my fridge. And then another thing too is that most of us talked about how we leave the bathroom door open. Do you guys not leave the bathroom door open? I always have. That's been something I've always talked about with people I'm in relationships with because I'm like, hey, just so you're aware, I don't close the door like ever. So I don't know. Those are just a few things about me, about us that, by the way, we all do. So let's normalize it. No shame. Okay, we're not hurting anybody. If you are not following me over on Instagram at Midlife Craving, go do it now, especially if you're listening to this before New Year's Eve, because I am going to Times Square. massive bucket list item for me. I'm so excited about this. By the way, I'm not standing out there wearing a diaper. Mr. Wright and I have tickets to a private party. We will have access to a bathroom and it will be heated. I am so excited, you guys. Like, I don't know. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's an atmosphere and energy I've always wanted to experience. I have a beautiful gold disco ball looking dress. I'm just so excited. And also to say, fuck you 2025. Cheers to 2026. Okay. Like, that's all I'm about right now. And I know, nothing changes on New Year's Day. I agree. But like, let's just start fresh. Even when I'm writing a new year on the page or typing it, it makes me feel like, okay, the past is in the past. There's something about this new year reset. Okay, so next week, and by the way, I am back. Okay, like, look, life has been kicking my ass. I cannot tell you like how hard it's been, but moving forward, I'm back in the studio. Okay, did you know that Midlife Craving turned 5 years old on December 17th? Okay, 5 years, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I feel great when I'm in here. I love connecting with you guys, and to each and every one of you that reach out to me via email, on the website, or over in the DMs on Instagram. Your words, your comments, your check-ins, they mean so much to me. I really do try to respond to everybody. And I want to let you know, I'm back. Me and sharing my life and all the crazy that it is. I'm going to be consistent because I miss you guys and I miss being back in the studio. I truly want to focus on my blessings, to look forward, not back. Remember, the rear view is way smaller than the windshield. And I just want to move forward. And that includes you guys riding shotgun with me. So cheers to 2026. I will see you guys next week. We're going to talk about finding love in midlife. And I can't wait to share more of my story and how, if you're out there and you're looking and you're in this midlife shift and you're looking for love, let's talk about it. And I'm going to give you tips and tricks and things that I did to find the one, because I found love in midlife. All right, I'm getting out of here. Cheers, guys.